Before we get started, please like and subscribe. Let me know where you're watching from, and you can support the channel by clicking thanks or joining. My name is Ethan Caldwell, and I make a living fixing broken stories. I work in a quiet office above a coffee shop in Providence, where the windows shake when buses stop outside. My job is simple on paper. I find missing records. I correct timelines. I make sure a person's life matches the documents that say they exist. Insurance cases, probate disputes, lost deeds, old adoptions. When the truth and the paperwork do not agree, I am the one people call. That is why the first letter should have meant nothing to me. It arrived sometime after midnight, slid under my office door without a sound. No knock, no stamp, no return address. The envelope was plain and slightly yellowed, like it had been handled by time more than hands. My name was written on the front in careful block letters. Ethan Caldwell. The address was almost correct. The street was right. The building was right, but the suite number was off by 1 digit, as if the sender remembered my office, but not exactly where it was. Inside was a single sheet of lined paper folded once. The handwriting was neat and deliberate, pressing hard into the page. It smelled faintly of soap and old dust, like a closed room that had not been opened in years. Ethan, if this is the first time you are reading me, then you still have time to stop. Do not look for me. Do not try to prove I exist. I was never born, and that is the only reason you are alive. I read the words twice before my mind reacted. At first I laughed, because laughing is easier than believing something impossible. But the laugh came out wrong, thin and short, and left my throat tight. The letter did not sound like a joke. It sounded calm, certain, like it already knew what would happen next. At the bottom of the page, written smaller, was one final sentence. Check your birth record. Start there. I told myself it was a prank, someone trying to unsettle me, but my body did not agree. There was a slow, cold feeling spreading in my chest, as if something important had just been loosened. When I got home, I pulled out the shoebox where I keep old documents, social security card, tax forms, immunization records. At the bottom was my birth certificate. It looked normal at first glance. State seal raised. Stamp my name, my parents' names, the hospital. But when I touched it, something felt wrong. The paper was too smooth, too clean. When I tilted it toward the light, the watermark did not appear. The hospital listed was St. Bridget Memorial Hospital. I searched for it online. Nothing. No address. No photos. No history. Only a few old obituaries mentioning the name without details. A hospital that existed only as a phrase. The handwriting on the letter kept pulling at me. It was uncomfortably familiar. The shape of the letters, the pressure of the pen reminded me of my own handwriting years ago before it grew sloppy. The next morning, I went to the state records office and requested a certified copy of my birth record. The clerk typed my name, then typed it again. Her expression changed. "I am not finding anything," she said. She searched again, including hospital archives. Still nothing. No record, no number, no entry. As if I had never been born at all. I left the building shaking. In my car, I opened my email and saw a new message with no subject and an address made of numbers. The attachment was named Letter 02. Inside was another scanned page in the same handwriting. You checked, didn't you? That empty space you felt is where I live. I am the child your mother almost had, the one she chose not to bring into the world. At the bottom, one last line pressed hard into the page. Go to your mother's house. Look under the nursery floorboard. I had never had a nursery, at least that is what I believed. But suddenly I remembered something I should not have. A pale yellow room, a mobile turning slowly, a rocking chair moving by itself in the dark. I started my car. Behind me on the passenger seat, my phone vibrated again with a new message. Letter 03. And I knew this was only the beginning. The drive to my mother's house felt longer than it ever had before. Every mile marker looked unfamiliar, as if the road itself was questioning whether I belonged on it. I kept replaying the words from the letter in my head, trying to flatten them into something reasonable. Stress hallucinations, an elaborate prank, a coincidence stacked on top of another coincidence until it felt like meaning. But no matter how many explanations I rehearsed, none of them explained the memory that would not leave me alone. The pale yellow room, the slow turning mobile, the rocking chair that moved without being touched. It was not a clear image. It was more like a pressure behind my eyes, as if something was trying to surface and my mind was pushing it back down. My mother, Linda Caldwell, lived alone in the same two-story house I grew up in. White siding, narrow driveway, a maple tree in the front yard that dropped red leaves every fall. It was a safe, ordinary place, filled with predictable smells and sounds. Or at least it used to be. When I pulled into the driveway, the house looked exactly the same, and that somehow made it worse. Nothing appeared wrong from the outside. No broken windows, no strange lights, just quiet. She answered the door on the second knock, wearing a sweater I recognized and a cautious smile that froze when she saw my face. "Ethan, you look terrible," she said. I laughed again, that thin laugh that kept slipping out of me. I told her I had not been sleeping much. It was not a lie. She stepped aside and let me in. The house smelled like coffee and furniture polish. Familiar, comforting. My shoulders loosened a little, as if I had been holding my breath since yesterday. We sat at the kitchen table and made small talk. Weather, neighbors, a story about her grocery store loyalty card not working, all the normal things people say when they are carefully avoiding something else. I watched her hands as she talked, the way her fingers tapped the mug when she paused, the faint tremor when she lifted it. I had never noticed that before. Finally, I asked her about St. Bridget Memorial Hospital. The mug stopped halfway to her mouth. She did not look at me. She stared at the wall behind my shoulder, as if reading something written there. "Where did you hear that name?" she asked. "It was my birth certificate," I said. "It says I was born there." Her face drained of color so quickly it looked unreal. She set the mug down with shaking hands. "I told you that hospital closed," she said too quickly. "I checked the records, Mom," I said. There is no record of it ever. Silence settled between us, heavy and brittle. I could hear the refrigerator hum and the clock ticking above the sink. Each second felt too loud. She finally looked at me, and I saw something in her eyes I had never seen before. Fear not for me, but of me. You should not be digging into this, she said. Why, I asked. Because some things are meant to stay finished, she said. That was when I pulled the printed copy of the letter from my jacket and slid it across the table. She did not touch it. She did not need to read it. The moment she saw the handwriting, her breath caught. "Oh God," she whispered. "You recognize it," I said. Her eyes filled with tears, and she nodded once slowly. "I thought I buried that," she said. "Buried what, Mom?" I asked. She closed her eyes, and when she opened them again, she looked years older. "There was a time before you," she said. "A short time when I was pregnant." My heart hammered against my ribs. "I lost the baby," she continued. "Or at least, that is what everyone believes." My mouth felt dry. "What do you mean everyone believes?" I asked. She stood up abruptly and paced the kitchen, pressing her hand against her chest. "I was young," she said. "I was scared. Your father and I were barely making it. We fought all the time. When the doctor told me there were complications, I thought it was a sign of what I asked quietly, that I was not meant to have that child," she said. The word child echoed in my head. "I made a choice," she said, her voice breaking. "I signed the papers. I told myself it was mercy. I remembered the letter. I am the child your mother almost had. Did you ever name it?" I asked. She stopped pacing. "Yes," she said after a moment. My skin prickled. "What name?" I asked. She swallowed. "Nathan," she said. The sound of it hit me like a physical blow. Nathan, one letter away from Ethan. I felt suddenly dizzy and gripped the edge of the table. "I never wrote it down," she said quickly. "I never told anyone. It was just something I said in my head. But I heard it," I whispered. Her eyes snapped to mine. "What did you say?" "Nothing," I said. I was not ready to tell her about the memory, or the rocking chair, or the feeling that something was listening. I asked to use the bathroom, and she nodded distractedly. As I walked down the hallway, my footsteps sounded wrong, too loud, too hollow. I stopped in front of the spare room at the end of the hall. The door was closed. "Mom," I called back, "is this still just storage?" She hesitated before answering. "Yes," she said. I opened the door. The room was full of boxes stacked neatly against the walls, holiday decorations, old clothes, broken lamps, dusty and ordinary. But as I stood there, that pressure behind my eyes returned stronger than before. I could almost see another version of the room layered over this one, smaller, painted pale yellow, empty except for a crib. I knelt down and pressed my hand against the floor. One board shifted slightly. My heart raced. I pried it up with my fingers. Beneath was a shallow gap no more than a few inches deep. Inside lay a small envelope yellowed with age. My name was written on it. Not Ethan. Nathan. My breath caught. I opened it with shaking hands. Inside was a folded piece of paper written in the same careful handwriting as the letters. "Hello, brother. If you are reading this, then she finally told you my name." The room felt suddenly too small. The air felt thick. I folded the letter and stood up too fast. making the boxes sway. From behind me, I heard the faintest sound, a creak, the unmistakable slow rhythm of a rocking chair moving by itself. I did not turn around. I ran. When I reached my car, my phone buzzed again. Letter 4, and beneath it a single line of text. You know my name now. Soon the world will too. I did not go straight home after leaving my mother's house. I drove until the streets blurred together and the city thinned into long, quiet roads. My hands were still shaking, and every time I closed my eyes, I saw the name written on that envelope. Nathan, so close to my own it felt like an echo rather than a word. I stopped at a 24-hour diner on the edge of town. The place was nearly empty, just a tired waitress wiping down the counter, and an old man stirring soup he never seemed to eat. The fluorescent lights buzzed overhead, flattening the world into something unreal. I ordered coffee and wrapped my hands around the mug. It burned my palms, and I welcomed the pain. It reminded me that I was still here, still solid. My phone lay face down on the table. I could feel it vibrating in my thoughts, even though it stayed silent. Letter 4 waited unread. I knew opening it would pull me deeper, but not opening it felt worse. Like standing on the edge of a dark pool, knowing something below was already looking up. I flipped the phone over. The email contained a single image, a photograph. It took my mind a few seconds to understand what I was seeing. It was a room, small, painted pale yellow. The walls were bare, except for faint outlines where something had once hung. A mobile, perhaps. There was a window with thin white curtains and moonlight spilling across the floor. In the center of the room sat a crib. It was empty. My breath caught in my chest. The photograph was old, judging by the grain and faded colors, but I recognized the proportions, the angle of the window, the placement of the door. It was my mother's house, specifically the spare room at the end of the hall, the room that had never been a nursery. Under the photo was a short message written in the same careful handwriting. You remember now. I slammed the phone face down on the table and stood up too fast, making the chair scrape loudly against the floor. The waitress glanced at me, then looked away. Quickly, I threw cash on the table and left. By the time I got back to my apartment, it was almost dawn. The sky was that sickly gray color that comes before sunrise when everything feels unfinished. I sat on my couch, staring at the wall, trying to slow my breathing. I needed to think, to build a timeline. That was what I was good at. My mother had been pregnant before me. She made a choice. Nathan was never born, but the letters existed. The handwriting existed. The memory existed. Something was pushing against the boundary of what should have been. I opened my laptop and started digging. Hospital records, adoption forums, old medical journals, anything related to terminated pregnancies and long-term psychological effects. I told myself I was looking for a rational explanation. Instead, I found stories. Buried deep in forums and comment sections were posts from people who claimed to be haunted by children they never had. Not ghosts exactly, more like absences that took shape. Cries heard through baby monitors that were never installed. Toys moving in empty rooms. Names names whispered in dreams. Most of the posts ended the same way, with the writer saying they had finally made peace or that the feeling faded. A few ended abruptly. Accounts abandoned mid-sentence. No updates, no closure. One thread caught my attention. It was years old and barely noticed. The title read, "The Nursery That Was Never Built." The user described a room in their house that changed when they were not looking. Sometimes it was storage, sometimes it was empty, sometimes it was a nursery that no one else remembered decorating. The final post was short. "It wants to be seen." My stomach tightened. I leaned back and rubbed my eyes. When I opened them, the room felt different. Not visibly different, but heavier, as if the air itself had thickened. That was when I heard it. A soft sound coming from the direction of my bedroom. A slow, rhythmic creak. I froze. I did not own a rocking chair. The sound came again, steady and patient. Creak, creak. I stood up slowly, every nerve screaming at me to run. The sound grew louder as I stepped down the hallway. My bedroom door was open. Inside the room, the light was off, but moonlight spilled in through the blinds, casting long bars of silver across the floor. In the center of the room sat a rocking chair. It was old, wooden, worn, smooth in places from use. It rocked gently back and forth, though no one sat in it. My heart hammered so hard I felt dizzy. This was impossible. I had never seen this chair before. I would have remembered moving it in. I would have remembered buying it. As I watched, the chair slowed and then stopped. The air felt charged, like the moment before a storm breaks. Then the chair rocked again and again. I backed away until my shoulders hit the wall. My phone buzzed in my hand. Letter 05. The message loaded on its own. "You brought the room with you. That is what happens when you remember." My knees nearly gave out. I slammed the bedroom door and locked it, trapping the chair inside. The sound continued, muffled now, but still there, scraping softly against the floor. I did not sleep. When the sun finally rose, the sound stopped. I unlocked the door with shaking hands and pushed it open. The room was empty. No chair, no marks on the floor. Nothing except for one thing. On the wall near the window, faint but unmistakable, were outlines where decorations had once been. Small hooks, discolored patches where paint had aged differently, like something had been there for a long time. A nursery. I sank onto the bed, my head spinning. My phone buzzed again. Letter 6. This time the message was shorter. "The room is ready. Soon you will be too." I realized then that whatever Nathan was, he was not just haunting my mother. He was moving through me, using my memories, my spaces, my life to build something that had never existed. A place, a beginning. I looked around my apartment, seeing it differently now. The empty corners, the unused spaces, all of them potential. I felt a terrible certainty settle into my chest. This was not about revenge. It was about birth, and something that wanted a second chance to come into the world. I called in sick to work that morning, even though I could not remember the last time I had done that. The idea of sitting in my office surrounded by other people's paperwork felt impossible. Paper was no longer proof of anything. It was just another place for lies to hide. The apartment felt wrong in daylight. The sunlight showed me how empty it really was, as if something had been removed. and left a hollow behind. I kept catching myself staring at corners, waiting for furniture that was not there. A crib, a chair, a presence. My phone had not buzzed since the last message, and that silence was worse than the constant interruptions. I knew another letter was coming. I could feel it the way you feel a storm building hours before the rain starts. I tried to distract myself by cleaning. I opened drawers I had not touched in years, sorted old mail, threw out receipts. That was when I found the envelope tucked behind a stack of manuals in the bottom drawer of my desk. It was thicker than the others and sealed with yellowed tape. Inside was a photograph. I recognized it instantly, even though it made no sense. It was an ultrasound image printed on glossy paper, the kind parents pin to refrigerators or slip into wallets. There were medical markings along the edges, date, time, patient number, but at the center where a fetus should have been, there was only static, a grainy gray void shaped like absence itself. My hands trembled as I turned the photo over. On the back, written in the same careful handwriting, was a date, 3 months before my birth, and beneath it, a single word. Nathan. I felt sick. This was not something my mother would have kept. She barely spoke about that time in her life. And yet here it was hidden in my apartment like it had always been waiting for me to notice it. My phone buzzed. Letter 7. I did not hesitate this time. I opened it immediately. You are holding the proof now. The picture they took when I was still allowed to exist. Look closely. I lifted the photo again and brought it closer to the light. At first I saw only noise. Then my eyes adjusted and I noticed something subtle. The static was not random. There was a shape there after all. A faint outline like a shadow behind fog. A body, incomplete, distorted, as if the image had tried to form and failed. My chest tightened. I remembered another thing then. A story my mother used to tell about her pregnancy with me. How the first ultrasound had been strange. How the technician frowned and left the room for a long time. How they told her the machine was malfunctioning. I had always assumed it was just a story. The email updated again, adding a second page. They told her there was nothing there. They were wrong. I sank into a chair, staring at the image. If this was real, if this photo had been taken, then Nathan had existed at least for a moment, long enough to leave an imprint, long enough to be erased. I needed answers beyond what the letters were willing to give. There was only one place that might still have records: the hospital that did not exist, St. Bridget Memorial Hospital. That afternoon, I drove to the address listed on the old obituaries I had found earlier. It led me to the edge of the city where warehouses sagged under decades of neglect. At the end of the street stood a building that did not belong to any time. The sign was gone, but the shape of it was still visible on the brick, a faint outline where letters had once been mounted. The windows were boarded up, the entrance chained, but the building was unmistakably a hospital. I parked across the street and sat there for a long time staring at it. The air around the place felt heavy, like it resisted attention. My phone buzzed again. Letter 8. You found it. They tried to forget it too. I got out of the car. The chain on the door was rusted enough that I forced it apart. Inside, the air was stale and cold. Dust coated every surface, muffling my footsteps. The lobby was frozen in time. A reception desk overturned wheelchairs, abandoned a faded directory still mounted on the wall. I walked past signs pointing to maternity wards, surgical suites, neonatal care. Each step made my skin crawl. In the radiology department, I found what I was looking for. A metal cabinet still locked. I pried it open with a crowbar I found near maintenance. Inside were folders warped with age. Most were unreadable, molded, blank. One folder remained intact. Caldwell Linda. My hands shook as I opened it. Inside was a single ultrasound report. Patient shows signs of anomalous gestation. Imaging inconclusive. Recommendation: terminate due to non-viable fetus. Attached was the same photo I held in my hand, but this version had something else. Faint handwritten note in the margin. Secondary presence detected. I staggered back, nearly dropping the folder. Secondary presence. My phone buzzed violently in my pocket. Letter 9. You were there too, Ethan. You just arrived later. The implication hit me like a wave. If my mother had been pregnant twice at once, if something had shared that space, then my existence was not separate from Nathan's. I was not just replacing him. I was built on top of him. The lights flickered. Somewhere deep in the building, something moved. I ran. Outside, I did not stop until I was back in my car, gasping for breath. On the passenger seat, the ultrasound photo lay face up. For a moment, I thought the static had changed, that the shape inside was clearer, and that it was looking back at me. My phone buzzed one last time. Letter 10. Soon I will be complete, and when I am, you will remember everything. I did not look at the ultrasound photo again. I left it face down on the kitchen table, as if turning it over could invite whatever was inside to crawl out. The apartment felt smaller now. Every room seemed to lean inward, listening. I showered and dressed, but the mirror offered me a version of myself that felt slightly delayed. When I moved my hand, my reflection followed a fraction of a second too late. I told myself it was exhaustion. I had not slept properly in days. Fear plays tricks when the body is worn thin. My phone vibrated on the counter. Letter 11. I did not open it. Not yet. There was one name in the hospital file that would not leave my thoughts. A signature at the bottom of the ultrasound report. A midwife listed as present during intake. Margaret Hensley. If she was still alive, she would remember something, or she would deny it. Either way, I needed to hear it from a living person, not a ghost, in my inbox. I found her address through an old professional registry. She lived in a small coastal town an hour south, a place where time seemed to slow out of habit. The drive felt like moving away from everything familiar and towards something waiting patiently. Her house sat alone near the water-weathered gray with wind chimes clinking softly on the porch. When I knocked, the door opened almost immediately, as if she had been standing on the other side, listening. Yes, she said before I spoke. Her eyes were sharp despite her age. She looked at my face with an intensity that made me uneasy. You look like her, she said quietly. Like who, I asked. "Your mother," she said. I introduced myself and watched her expression change at the sound of my name. Not surprise, recognition. "Ethan," she repeated. I asked if I could come in. She hesitated, then stepped aside. The inside of the house smelled like salt and old books. Framed photographs lined the walls. Babies wrapped in blankets. Smiling parents, hospital rooms frozen in time. I asked her if she had worked at St. Bridget Memorial Hospital. Her mouth tightened. I told myself I would stop answering that question, she said. "But you remember it," I said. She nodded once. I asked if she remembered my mother. She closed her eyes. "Yes," she said. I asked if she remembered me. Her eyes opened and fixed on mine. "There was no you," she said. The words landed like a slap. "What do you mean?" I asked. She walked to a cabinet and poured herself a glass of water, hands trembling slightly. "Your mother came in frightened and alone," she said. There was something wrong from the beginning. The scans did not make sense. The readings overlapped how I asked, as if there were two heartbeats sharing one space, she said. My stomach dropped. She continued, speaking faster now, as if afraid she might stop. "The doctors argued. Some said it was an error. Some said it was impossible. One of them said it was a vanishing twin." "Nathan," I whispered. Her head snapped up. "Do not say that name," she said sharply. "Why?" I asked. "Because he heard it once," she said. The room felt colder. "What do you mean he heard it?" I asked. She pressed her hand against her chest. "There was no baby," she said slowly. "There was a presence, something that did not follow the rules. It reacted to voices, sound, light." She looked at me with fear. "When your mother decided to terminate the pregnancy, the room changed," she said. "The machines went wild. The lights flickered. I swear." Something screamed. I felt dizzy. "After it was done," she continued, I told myself it was over, but then the second scan appeared. "Second scan?" I asked. She nodded. "An image that should not have existed," she said. Something had remained, but it was quieter, smaller. She looked directly at me. "You," she said. I felt the ground tilt. I asked why she had not spoken up, why there was no record. "Because every time I tried to write it down, the words disappeared," she said. "Every time I spoke about it, people forgot." She leaned closer. "It did not want to be recorded," she whispered. "It wanted to wait." My phone vibrated in my pocket. Letter 11 opened on its own. "She remembers more than she should." Margaret flinched. "What was that?" she asked. "Nothing," I lied. She shook her head. "It is close now," she said. "I can feel it again." Suddenly, a sound came from the hallway behind us. A soft dragging noise, like something being pulled slowly across the floor. Margaret froze. "No," she whispered. The sound grew louder. I stood up, my heart pounding. From the hallway, a shape emerged. It was not fully formed. Not a body, not a shadow. It looked like a blur where the air bent inward. I felt a pressure in my head, memories colliding. A nursery, a womb, darkness, sound. Margaret screamed. The lights went out. In the darkness, I heard a voice, not spoken aloud, but pressed directly into my mind. "Brother!" I ran. I did not remember leaving the house or reaching my car. I only remember gasping for air as I drove away, shaking violently. When I stopped miles later, my phone buzzed again. Letter 12. The message was short. She should not have remembered. "Now you must help me." I stared at my reflection in the windshield. For the first time, I wondered if helping him was something I had already been doing my entire life. I stopped answering my phone after that night. Every vibration felt like a summons, and I was no longer sure who would be on the other end if I picked up Ethan or something that wore my name. The world outside kept moving as if nothing had changed. Cars passed, stores opened, people laughed into their phones. The normalcy felt obscene, like a lie everyone agreed to pretend was real. My birthday was 3 days away. I had never cared much about birthdays. Another year. Another excuse to buy a cake and accept polite messages from people who barely knew me. But now the date loomed in my mind like a deadline. Nathan knew. I could feel it. The morning before my birthday, I received a thick envelope slid under my apartment door, just like the first letter. No return address, no sound. When I picked it up, the paper felt warm. Inside were documents, not letters, records, school forms, medical intake sheets, a library card application, all bearing my name. Ethan Caldwell, all dated years ago, but each one had something wrong. A missing signature, a smudged seal, a date that skipped forward then back again. They looked real until you stared too long. At the bottom of the stack was a folded note. "These are the lives you borrowed. I only want one day." My stomach twisted. I flipped through the papers again more carefully. One of the school forms listed my birth date. It was correct. Another listed it as 1 day later. Another as 1 day earlier. As if the world could not agree when I began. My phone buzzed. "Letter 13. Tomorrow is our birthday." I dropped the phone. I spent the rest of the day pacing the apartment, checking locks, checking corners, checking mirrors. Every reflective surface felt dangerous. I avoided looking at my own face for too long, afraid I might see a second expression layered over mine. That night I dreamed of standing in a long hallway lined with doors. Each door had a date written on it. Some were crossed out, some were blank. At the end of the hall was a door marked with my birthday. It was already open. I woke just after midnight. The apartment was silent, too silent. The clock on the microwave blinked 12:00. My birthday. The lights flickered once, then the power went out. In the darkness, I heard movement. Not footsteps, breathing, slow and close. My phone lit up in my hand. Letter 14. "Happy birthday, brother." The screen shifted on its own, opening a camera view. It showed me standing in my kitchen. From behind, I spun around, but the room was empty. The phone buzzed again. "Look closer." I raised the phone slowly. The camera image lagged behind my movement. In the delay, I saw it. A second figure standing inches behind me. Taller, thinner, its outline wrong, like it had been stretched. I screamed and dropped the phone. The screen cracked but stayed lit. The figure stepped closer in the image, even as the real space behind me remained empty. The lights came back on. The phone screen went dark. I sank to the floor, shaking. When I looked up, there was a small cake on the kitchen counter. One candle lit. I stared at it, unable to move. The flame bent sideways, as if responding to a breath. I felt it then, a presence at my back, warmer than air, colder than skin. A voice pressed into my thoughts. Make a wish. I stood slowly, my legs weak. What do you want? I whispered. The candle flickered. To be counted, he said. I thought of the documents, the missing records, the shifting dates. You want my life, I said. No, he replied calmly. I want my day. The clock on the wall began ticking loudly. I realized then what the letters had been leading to. Nathan did not want to replace me. He wanted to exist alongside me, if only briefly. One day where the world acknowledged him. One birthday where the count was wrong. The candle burned lower. If I let him have it, what would happen after? I asked. The presence hesitated. I do not know, he said. That is the risk. The flame wavered. I thought of my mother, of Margaret, of the hospital, of a child who never got a chance to be anything. I leaned forward. The moment I blew out the candle, the world lurched. The walls groaned. The air vibrated. My phone rang. I answered without looking. Hello, said a cheerful, automated voice. Please confirm your date of birth. The line went dead. The lights flickered again. Then everything went still. The cake vanished. The apartment returned to normal. My phone buzzed one last time. Letter 15. Thank you. I will remember this. When the sun rose, my birthday had passed. I checked my wallet. My driver's license now listed a different date. One day later than before. Somewhere in the world, a record had been added. Not mine. His. The first sign that the world had noticed the extra day came from my mother. She called me just after noon, her voice tight and confused. She asked why my birthday card was returned to her mailbox marked undeliverable. She said the clerk told her the date was wrong, that the system showed a different one now. I did not correct her. I hung up and sat in silence, letting the truth settle into my bones. Nathan had taken his day and the world had made room for it. But space is never free. That afternoon, I drove back to my mother's house. I did not tell her I was coming. I needed to see the place for myself before anyone else could explain it away. The house looked the same from the street, but as soon as I stepped inside, I felt it. The air was warmer, heavier, like it held a memory. My mother was in the living room, staring at the hallway. It changed, she said without looking at me. What changed? I asked. The house, she said. It changed last night. She finally turned to me, and I saw fear there, raw and unguarded. I heard something, she continued. A child moving around after midnight. My stomach clenched. I walked past her toward the hallway. Each step felt deliberate, as if the floor expected my weight. The spare room door was open. Inside, the boxes were gone. The room was smaller than it used to be. The walls were pale yellow. A nursery. My breath caught. There was a crib in the center of the room. Not old, not dusty, new and waiting. On the wall hung a mobile, slowly turning, though there was no breeze. My mother stood behind me, trembling. I never built this room, she whispered. I knew she was telling the truth. The house had remembered. I stepped inside and the floor creaked softly in response. The crib rocked once gently. Do not touch it, my mother begged. But I already felt drawn forward. Inside the crib lay a folded piece of paper, a letter. I picked it up, Brother, the house always knew me. It only needed time. My mother's knees buckled and I caught her before she fell. That night she slept on the couch, clutching a blanket like a shield. I stayed awake, listening. At 3:17 in the morning, I heard footsteps, small, careful steps moving down the hallway. The nursery door creaked open. A soft humming filled the house, a lullaby without words. I stood frozen at the end of the hall, staring into the yellow light spilling from the room. Something sat in the rocking chair, not fully solid, not fully gone. It hummed patiently. My phone buzzed silently in my hand. Letter 16. He likes this place. It remembers him better than you. The figure in the chair turned slightly. I felt a pressure in my chest like a hand closing around my heart. Go back to sleep, Ethan, the voice said calmly. You have already helped enough. I stepped backward, my legs shaking. The next morning, the nursery was gone. Boxes were back, walls white again, but the smell of baby powder lingered. And beneath the floorboard, a second envelope waited, this one heavier. Inside was a house deed. My mother's name was crossed out. Nathan Caldwell was written beneath it. The house remembered who it belonged to, and it was no longer us. After the house changed, I stopped believing the rules would protect me. Records could be rewritten, walls could remember, and days could be added like footnotes to reality. Nathan was no longer confined to letters and rooms. He was learning how to move forward. The first letter from tomorrow arrived 2 days later. It was waiting on my desk at work when I unlocked my office door at dawn. I had not returned since everything began, but something pulled me back. I needed proof that my life still existed somewhere outside my mother's house. The envelope was crisp white, not aged, not yellowed. My name was printed, not written. Inside was a single page typed clean and perfect. Ethan, this letter will reach you on a Wednesday morning. You will read it before your first client arrives. At 9:12, you will spill coffee on your desk. At 9:14, the phone will ring. You will not answer it. I checked my watch. 9:11. I laughed once, sharp and hollow. At 9:12, my elbow brushed the mug and coffee spread across the desk, soaking into a folder. My phone rang. I did not answer. My hands were shaking. The letter continued. You are learning how this works now. Time is only strict for those who stay inside it. I am writing from a place that is slightly ahead of you. The date at the top of the page was tomorrow. I sat down hard in my chair. My office felt wrong. Smaller, like it was being viewed through glass from another angle. My computer chimed with a new email. Letter 17. The message body was empty except for an attachment. I opened it. It was a scan of the same letter I held in my hands. Sent from tomorrow. The realization pressed the air out of my lungs. Nathan was no longer just remembering. He was anticipating. I spent the rest of the day watching the clock, matching each moment to the letter. Everything happened exactly as described, down to the smallest detail. A client who arrived late, a file that slipped from my hand, a headache that started behind my left eye. When 5 o'clock came, I locked the office and ran. That night I dreamed of calendars, endless pages flipping forward, dates blurring together until only one remained circled in red. Tomorrow, I woke to the sound of my printer running. It had no paper loaded, and yet page after page slid out onto the floor. Letters, dozens of them, each one addressed to me, each one dated a day ahead of the last. I picked one up at random. Ethan, tomorrow you will try to stop me. You will fail. Another, tomorrow you will think about destroying the letters. You will hesitate. Another, tomorrow you will understand why I need you alive. My apartment was filled with the sound of paper sliding and landing softly like snowfall. I realized with a chill that these letters were not warnings. They were instructions. Nathan was using the future to guide the present. My phone buzzed. Letter 18. You see it now. I am not chasing you. I am leading you. I grabbed my jacket and fled the apartment, leaving the letters scattered like shed skin. Outside, the city felt unfamiliar. Street signs seemed slightly off. Store names were spelled wrong, then corrected themselves when I looked again. At a crosswalk, the pedestrian signal flickered between walk and do not walk rapidly, as if it could not decide which version of the moment it was in. I crossed anyway. On the other side of the street, a man stopped and stared at me. He smiled. "You are early," he said. My blood ran cold. "What did you say?" I asked. He blinked, confusion crossing his face. "Sorry," he said, "I thought you were someone else." But as he walked away, I heard him whisper, "Too early." I ducked into a public library, desperate for silence. The place was nearly empty, rows of books humming softly under fluorescent lights. I sat at a table and buried my face in my hands. When I looked up, there was a letter waiting for me. No envelope, just paper. "Ethan, this is where I learned to write. This is where they taught me letters before I had a body." I scanned the shelves around me. In the children's section, one shelf stood out. It was labeled early reading. Every book on it was signed inside the cover. Nathan Caldwell. My heart pounded. The librarian approached me slowly. "Can I help you?" she asked. I pointed at the shelf. "Those books," I said. She frowned. "Those have always been there," she said. "Always." She paused. "Since yesterday." I ran. Back in my car, my phone buzzed again. Letter 19. "I am getting closer to now. Soon there will be no difference." As I drove home, the radio crackled with static, then cleared. A child's voice came through softly. "Ethan." I turned it off, shaking. At home, the letters were gone. The apartment was empty, but on the wall above my desk, a sentence was written in neat, familiar handwriting. "Thank you for waiting for me." I realized then that tomorrow was no longer ahead of me. It was inside my house, and Nathan was already there. The next morning, I woke up knowing something had been removed. It was not a sound or a smell. It was a gap, a soft hollow in my thoughts, like a word on the tip of my tongue that refused to surface. I lay still, staring at the ceiling, trying to remember what I had dreamed about. and realized I could not remember the night at all. My phone said it was Thursday. That felt wrong. I opened the calendar app and scrolled back. Wednesday was gone, not marked as past, not crossed out, gone completely as if the day had never existed. My chest tightened. I checked the wall calendar in the kitchen. The square between Tuesday and Thursday was blank. No date, no number, just white paper. I laughed once quietly. Nathan had taken more than a birthday. He had taken a day. I called my mother. She answered on the second ring, sounding tired. "What did you do yesterday?" she asked suddenly. I froze. "What do you mean?" I asked. "Yesterday," she said, "I cannot remember talking to you, but I remember feeling like I did." My mouth went dry. "Do you remember Wednesday?" I asked. There was a pause. "No," she said slowly. "I remember Tuesday, then today." My hands shook. I hung up and checked the news. Headlines jumped from Tuesday night to Thursday morning. Weather reports skipped a day. A local sports game was missing from the schedule entirely. The world had accepted the gap without question. Except me. At work, my office calendar software would not load. When it finally did, the missing day appeared briefly before flickering away like a mistake correcting itself. A client walked in and sat down. "I do not remember why I am here," he said. I stared at him. "We had an appointment yesterday," he continued, frowning. "Or I think we did." My head throbbed. As he spoke, I realized something worse. I could not remember his name. I had known it yesterday. Or had I? The more I tried to recall, the more my thoughts slipped like water through my fingers. I checked my files. Several were gone. Cases I had worked on for months erased, as if they never existed. People I clearly remembered helping were now strangers to me. Nathan was not just adding days, he was removing traces. My phone buzzed. Letter 20. A clean page makes room for new writing. I slammed the phone down. "Stop," I said aloud to the empty office. The lights flickered. I felt that familiar pressure in my chest. "You wanted me to have time," Nathan said calmly, from everywhere and nowhere. "I did not say you could take it from everyone else," I snapped. He was quiet for a moment. "Time must come from somewhere," he replied. I drove home in a daze, watching street names blur. Halfway there, I passed a church. Its signboard listed service times: Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday. I pulled over, shaking. Inside the apartment, I tried to ground myself. I opened photo albums. Digital and physical photos were missing. Entire events erased. A family dinner with my mother now showed an empty chair where I should have been. A college group photo had a gap where I remembered standing. I was being edited out. Slowly, methodically, I found a notebook on my desk I did not remember buying. Inside were notes written in my handwriting. "Do not forget this. If you are reading this, you already forgot something. He takes time first, then memory, then place." My breath hitched. There were dates beside the notes, dates that no longer existed. I flipped to the last page. "If the missing days reach 7, he can stay." My phone buzzed violently. Letter 21. 3 days so far. Panic surged through me. How many days had he taken before I noticed? I ran back to my mother's house. She looked at me with confusion and something else. Distance. "Have you met me before?" she asked hesitantly. My heart shattered. "Mom," I said. She flinched at the word. "You look familiar," she said. but I do not remember you. I stepped back as if struck. On the wall behind her hung family photos. In every one, my face was blurred, not erased. Blurred, as if the world was unsure whether I belonged. My phone buzzed again. Letter 22. Do not be afraid. I am only borrowing what you were given. I sank to my knees. This was not about coexistence anymore. It was about replacement. I understood then the rule Nathan had learned. To be born fully, he did not need a body. He needed space. Days, memories, a life slowly hollowed out until there was room enough for his own. I left my mother's house without saying goodbye. Back in my car, I tore the calendar from the glove compartment and stared at it. There were now 2 blank squares, Wednesday and tomorrow. My phone vibrated one last time. Letter 23. You are running out of time, Ethan. So am I. I looked at my reflection in the rear-view mirror. For a moment, there were 2 of us. Then the other face smiled, and I could not remember when it had arrived. By the time the 3rd blank day appeared, I understood the pattern too well to deny it. Nathan was not erasing the world randomly. He was editing me out with careful precision. He removed days first, then memories, then proof. What remained reshaped itself around the absence. I returned to my old high school because it was the last place I could think of that still held physical evidence of who I used to be. Yearbooks, class photos, names printed in ink that memory alone could not alter. The building smelled the same as it always had. Floor polish and dust and something faintly metallic. A smell that never left public schools. No matter how many years passed, I walked into the main office and introduced myself. The secretary smiled politely. "How can I help you?" she asked. I told her my name. She frowned and typed it into her computer. "I am not finding a student by that name," she said. I felt a familiar chill. "I graduated here," I said. She tilted her head. "From which year?" I told her. She typed again slower. "There is a Nathan Caldwell listed," she said. My heart stuttered. "Nathan?" "Yes," she replied. "Class of the same year you mentioned." I leaned closer to the screen. "And Ethan?" I asked. She shook her head. "No, Ethan Caldwell." My chest felt hollow. I asked if I could see the yearbook. She hesitated, then reached under the counter and handed me a thick volume. I flipped through the pages, my hands slick with sweat. Faces stared back at me, frozen in time. There I was, or rather, where I should have been. In the class photo, there was a space, not blurred, not erased, empty, an unnatural gap between 2 students who leaned slightly inward, as if framing something invisible. Below the photo were names. Nathan Caldwell appeared exactly where my name should have been. I stumbled back, knocking the book to the floor. The secretary stared at me concerned. "Are you all right?" she asked. I could not answer. In the hallway, a group of students passed, laughing. One of them looked at me and frowned. "Do I know you?" he asked. I opened my mouth. Before I could speak, another student laughed. "That's Nathan's brother," he said. "The weird one." They walked away. My legs gave out and I sat on a bench, shaking. My phone buzzed. Letter 24. People remember what fits best. I left the school and sat in my car staring at my reflection. It looked thinner, less defined, like the edges were softening. I drove to the public records office again, desperate to find something that still held my name. The clerk scanned my documents and shook her head. "This identification does not match our records," she said gently. She paused, then added, "But we do have a Nathan Caldwell." I asked her to show me. She turned the screen. Nathan Caldwell born. One day after the date I remembered as mine. Parents listed as Linda Caldwell and James Caldwell. My parents. Occupation, student, teacher, volunteer. Alive. Active. I felt sick. There was even a photo. A young man who looked like me but not quite. His eyes were too calm. His smile too certain. "Nathan." I backed away. Outside the building, the world felt wrong. People passed me without looking. A few looked straight through me like I was glass. I called my mother again. She answered happily. "Nathan," she said. My throat closed. "It's Ethan," I whispered. There was a pause. "Who?" she asked. I hung up. My phone buzzed immediately. "Letter 25. She is happier this way." I screamed then, drawing looks from passing strangers. One of them stepped closer, concerned. "Are you okay?" he asked. For a moment, his face flickered, two versions overlaying each other. Then he frowned and stepped back. "Sorry," he said. "I thought you were someone else." I stumbled away. At home, I locked the door and pulled every photo I owned into the living room. I spread them across the floor. In each one I was changing, fading. In some I was a shadow. In others I was completely gone. In one photograph from a school trip, the group stood smiling, and centered among them was Nathan. I was not there at all. I heard a knock at the door, slow, gentle. I did not answer. A voice came through the wood, calm and familiar. "Ethan," he said, "you are tired. Let me finish." I slid down the wall, clutching my head. "Please," I whispered. The door did not open. The voice softened. "You do not have to disappear," he said. "You just have to move aside." My phone buzzed one last time. Letter 26. "Tomorrow they will forget your name completely." I stared at the door, shaking. I finally understood the truth Nathan had been guiding me toward. This was not possession, it was succession, and the world was already choosing him. The letter warning me that my name would be forgotten arrived after it had already begun. I knew because when I tried to log into my bank account, the screen refreshed twice and displayed a message I had never seen before. "Identity cannot be verified. Please contact customer support." I called the number on the back of my card. The automated system asked me to confirm my social security number. I did. There was a pause long enough for hope to rise. Then the voice returned. "The number you entered does not belong to an active account." My heart began to race. Again, slower. Same response. I asked to speak to a representative. After several minutes, a woman answered, sounding calm and bored. She asked for my name. I told her. She typed. I heard the clicks through the phone. "I am not seeing that name in our system," she said. I swallowed. "What about the number I gave you?" I asked. She hesitated. "That number exists," she said, "but it is not assigned to you." Assigned to who? I asked. There was another pause. "It is currently unassigned," she said. "Unassigned. A number without a person. A life without a body." I hung up, shaking. Outside my window, a delivery truck passed with a company logo I did not recognize. When I focused on it, the letters rearranged themselves into something familiar, then slid away again. The world was still adjusting. I went online to the government portal that handled identity records. The site loaded slowly as if resisting me. When it finally opened, my profile picture appeared, but the name beneath it read Nathan Caldwell. The photo was me, but subtly altered. The eyes calmer, the mouth more assured. I scrolled down. Employment history updated, volunteer work added, community involvement listed. A cleaner, better version of my life. My name was nowhere. I searched for Ethan Caldwell. No results found. I felt something inside me loosen like a knot finally giving way. This was official now. Nathan was no longer hiding in cracks and missing days. The system had chosen him. I drove to the Social Security office downtown, desperate for a human face that might still recognize me. The waiting room was full of quiet frustration, people clutching folders, babies crying softly. When my number was called, I approached the counter. The clerk did not look up. "Name?" she asked. "Ethan Caldwell," I said. She typed, then frowned. "I do not have you here," she said. "I expected it." I slid my card under the glass. She examined it, then shook her head. "This card is invalid," she said. "It was issued by your office," I said. She looked at me for the first time. Her eyes slid over my face without settling. "Sir," she said carefully, "do you have any other identification?" I pulled out my driver's license. She scanned it. "This license number belongs to Nathan Caldwell," she said. I laughed then, not because it was funny, but because it was the only sound left in me. "That's impossible," I said. She tilted her head. "People make mistakes," she replied. She handed the license back to me with 2 fingers, as if it were fragile. "You should contact the person whose identity you are using," she added. "Using." I stepped away from the counter, feeling hollow. In the lobby, a security guard watched me closely. I knew the look. I was becoming a problem. My phone buzzed. Letter 27. Systems prefer consistency. I walked out before anyone could stop me. Outside, the city felt sharper. Sounds too loud. Colors slightly off. I passed a digital billboard advertising a community fundraiser. The smiling photo showed Nathan shaking hands with the mayor. I stared until the image changed. I went to my mother's house one last time. She opened the door, smiling. "Nathan," she said warmly, "come in." I stepped back. "It's me," I said. "It's Ethan." Her smile faltered. "Ethan," she repeated slowly. The name tasted unfamiliar to her. "I do not know anyone by that name," she said gently. I felt tears rise unbidden. "You raised me," I said. She shook her head. "I have only one son," she said. She touched a framed photo on the wall. "Nathan." The photo showed him standing beside her, arm around her shoulders. I was not in the picture. I backed away, unable to breathe. As I turned to leave, she called after me. "If you need help," she said, "there is a shelter downtown." Her kindness hurt more than anger would have. I sat in my car and stared at my hands. They looked real, but everything that connected them to the world was gone. My phone buzzed again. Letter 28. "This is the part where you let go," I whispered to the empty car. "What happens to me?" There There was a delay, then the reply appeared. You become the space that made room for me. I closed my eyes. For a moment, I could not remember my own face. When I opened them, the rearview mirror showed Nathan smiling back, not mocking, grateful. I turned away, shaking. I was not gone yet, but I was no longer counted, and the world had already moved on. I noticed my hands first. They blurred at the edges when I moved them too quickly, as if the air resisted my shape. When I pressed my palm against the steering wheel, I could feel the texture. But the pressure felt delayed, like sensation was arriving from somewhere else. I was still here, but not entirely. The world had stopped insisting on me. I parked near the river and watched the water slide past the concrete banks. Reflections broke apart and reformed. For a moment, I could not tell which reflection was mine. My phone buzzed. Letter 29. You are thinning. That is normal. I did not answer. I had learned that answering did not change outcomes. It only made them clearer. There was one place left that still mattered to both of us. The place where everything had almost begun. St. Bridget Memorial Hospital. I drove there without checking directions. My hands knew the way, even if the map did not. The building waited at the end of the street like it had been holding its breath. The boarded windows were gone. Lights glowed inside. The sign above the entrance read simply, Memorial, in clean white letters. No name, as if names were optional here. I stepped inside. The air smelled of antiseptic and dust, fresh and old at the same time. A contradiction that made my head ache. The lobby was active now. Nurses walked past carrying charts. Patients sat in rows staring at their phones. No one looked at me. I approached the reception desk. Excuse me, I said. The woman behind the counter did not react. I waved my hand. She blinked. Yes, she said. Do you have a map of the building? I asked. She slid a folded brochure toward me without meeting my eyes. I opened it. The map showed 3 floors. Emergency, surgery, maternity. I followed the arrows toward maternity. The hallway stretched longer than it should have. The lights flickered gently like breathing. Doors passed on either side, each marked with room numbers that skipped and repeated. At the end of the hall, a door waited unmarked. I pushed it open. The wing beyond did not belong to the hospital. The walls curved inward. The ceiling pulsed faintly. The floor felt warm under my feet. This place felt remembered rather than built. I heard footsteps behind me. Nathan stepped into the light. He looked solid now, fully formed, wearing my face refined into something calmer. You found it, he said. What is this place? I asked. The part they could not erase, he replied. The space between choices. Beds lined the walls, each holding a patient shaped by shadow. Not alive, not dead. They are waiting, Nathan said. Waiting for what I asked. For time, he said, smiling. I felt weak. You took days, I said. You took memories. You took my life. He nodded. I needed room. Why me? I asked. Because you were already here, he replied. You had a shape I could use. I looked down at my hands. They were almost transparent now. Am I dying? I asked. No, he said gently. You are becoming unassigned. A nurse passed through us, pushing a gurney. She did not see us. This wing is not on any map, Nathan continued. It exists only when needed. Needed for what I asked. Birth, he said. A monitor beeped steadily. I followed the sound to a room at the end of the wing. Inside, a bed waited. Above it hung a sign, Caldwell N. My chest tightened. This is where you finish, he said softly. I shook my head. I will not lie down. Nathan stepped closer. You already have, he said. The memory flooded back. A night I could not remember. A missing day. I saw myself walking into this room, guided by letters from tomorrow. I saw myself lying on the bed, agreeing to wait, agreeing to make room. I staggered back. I did not consent, I whispered. You did, he said. Because you love your mother, because you felt sorry for me. The truth cut deeper than fear. I had helped him. I had always helped him. My phone buzzed weakly. Letter 30. This is the last place you can still choose. I looked at Nathan. What happens if I stay? I asked. He considered. You will fade completely, he said, and I will be born without resistance. And if I leave, I asked. He smiled sadly. Then I will always be incomplete. I looked at the waiting beds, at the shadows breathing slowly. How many others are here? I asked. As many as it takes, he said. I felt the pull of the bed like gravity. I thought of my mother calling my name and not recognizing it, of the world moving on without me. I turned away. I walked back down the hall. Each step made me heavier. At the door, I paused. Nathan called after me. If you leave, he said, you will never be remembered. I looked over my shoulder. I already am not, I replied. I stepped through the door. The hospital vanished behind me. Outside, the street was empty, the building gone. My reflection in the car window was faint but present. My phone buzzed once more. Letter 31. Then we are not finished. I drove away knowing the choice I made had consequences. I was still here, but the space I left behind was still waiting. I did not go back to my apartment after the hospital vanished. I knew if I did, the space would already be different again. Rooms would shift. Objects would forget why they existed. Nathan was learning faster now, and I was tired of chasing what could not be held. Instead, I drove until the city thinned and the roads narrowed into familiar curves. My mother's house waited at the end of the street like a memory that refused to fade. I parked across the road and sat there for a long time watching the front door. The porch light was on, even though it was daytime. I remembered fixing that bulb years ago, or maybe Nathan had. When I finally walked up the path, the gravel did not crunch beneath my feet. It shifted silently as if sound no longer bothered to acknowledge me. She answered the door almost immediately. Yes, she said, smiling warmly. She looked at me without hesitation, without confusion. For one terrible, hopeful moment, I thought she remembered. Then she spoke again. Nathan, you are early, she said. My chest tightened. It's Ethan, I said quietly. She laughed softly. You always joke like that, she replied. Come inside." I followed her in because there was nowhere else left to go. The house was brighter than I remembered. Photos lined the walls, freshly framed and recently dusted. Every surface carried the careful order of someone proud of what they had built. She moved through the kitchen, humming. "Do you want tea?" she asked. I nodded automatically. She set 2 cups on the table. Only 2. I watched her hands. The steadiness, the confidence. This was not the woman who once shook in the kitchen telling me about a choice she never forgave herself for. This woman had no such memory. She sat across from me, smiling. "You look tired," she said. "Have you been working too much?" I searched her face for cracks. "Do you remember being pregnant before me?" I asked. She frowned slightly. "Before you," she repeated. "Before Nathan," I corrected. Her expression smoothed. "No," she said, "I only had 1 pregnancy." My heart sank. I tried again. "Do you remember St. Bridget Memorial Hospital?" She shook her head. "I gave birth at St. Mary's," she said. "Everyone knows that." I stood abruptly, knocking my chair back. The sound echoed too loudly. "You told me once," I said, my voice shaking. "You told me about another baby." She looked at me with concern. "Nathan," she said gently. "I think you should sit down." She reached for my hand. Her fingers passed through mine. "Not fully, just enough." She pulled back, startled. "What was that?" she whispered. I stared at my hand. It was fainter now, almost translucent. "I am sorry, Mom," I said. She looked at me confused. "Why are you apologizing?" she asked. "Because I am the one who remembers," I said. She shook her head. "Remember what?" I closed my eyes and let the truth spill out. I told her everything. The letters, the missing days, the hospital wing, the choice. She listened politely, nodding occasionally, like someone humoring a story they did not quite believe. When I finished, she smiled sadly. "You have always had such a vivid imagination," she said. My heart broke. I stood and walked to the hallway. At the end was the spare room. I opened the door. It was not a nursery. It was a bedroom. Nathan stood inside, arranging books on a shelf. He turned and smiled. "You should not upset her," he said calmly. "She does not remember you," I whispered. He nodded. "That was part of the correction. You erased her pain," I said. "I erased the contradiction," he replied. He stepped closer. "She never had to choose in this version." I felt anger flare. "You took her choice away." He shook his head. "I completed it." My mother's voice drifted down the hallway. "Nathan, do you need anything?" she called. Nathan answered without looking away from me. "No, Mom," he said, "just talking." She smiled at him. She did not look at me at all. I felt something tear inside my chest. "You are fading faster now," Nathan observed. "Good," I said. He tilted his head. "You think disappearing will punish me?" he asked. I shook my head. "No," I said, "I think it will free her." He was quiet for a moment. Then he smiled. "You still believe you matter more than the correction," he said. I walked past him. As I passed through the living room, I noticed something on the wall. A family portrait. My mother stood smiling. Nathan stood beside her. Between them was empty space, not blurred, not erased, just room. I paused. That space was shaped exactly like me. I turned back toward Nathan. "You left room," I said. He followed my gaze. He frowned. That should not be there. For the first time, I saw uncertainty cross his face. I smiled weakly. "You cannot erase what you never understood," I said. My mother looked between us, confused. "What is going on?" she asked. Nathan recovered quickly. Nothing, he said, but his eyes stayed on the empty space. I walked out the door. As I stepped onto the porch, the air felt thicker but warmer. My phone buzzed weakly. "Letter 32, you are making this harder." I typed back with trembling fingers. "You cannot finish without me." The reply came slower than before. "We will see." I walked away from the house, knowing I had left something behind that Nathan could not correct. A gap, not in time, not in records, but in the heart of someone who never remembered choosing. And somewhere inside that gap, I still existed. The gap I left behind did not stay quiet. I felt it the moment I stepped away from my mother's street. The air shuddered like something had been disturbed underground. Nathan had corrected almost everything in the world, but he had never learned how to deal with absence. He knew how to replace, knew how to overwrite. He did not know how to erase what refused to disappear. That night I slept in my car parked beneath a highway overpass. The concrete above me groaned with passing traffic. Each vibration felt like a reminder that weight still existed, even if I did not fully. I dreamed of the nursery, not the one that appeared and vanished, but a deeper version, older, darker, a room that had never been painted because no one had admitted it was there. The crib stood in the center, rocking slowly back and forth. Though the air was still, inside the crib was nothing, and yet something pressed upward from below, as if the mattress resisted an unseen weight. I woke, gasping. My phone buzzed. "Letter 33, you left something open." The message did not feel like a threat. It felt like panic. I drove back toward my mother's house against every instinct I had left. As I turned onto her street, the porch light flickered violently. Neighbors stood outside their homes, whispering and pointing. An ambulance idled at the curb. My heart sank. I ran up the path and through the open front door. The house was colder than it had ever been. The air smelled like dust and old cloth. My mother sat on the couch, wrapped in a blanket, staring down the hallway. "It keeps rocking," she whispered. I followed her gaze. At the end of the hall, the nursery door stood open. Yellow light spilled out. The room was back, but wrong. The walls were cracked. The paint peeled in long strips. The mobile spun too fast, blurring into a circle, and the crib rocked violently. Back and forth, back and forth. Each movement struck the floor with a hollow thud that echoed through the house. Nathan stood beside it. His calm was gone. "Make it stop," he hissed when he saw me. I felt the pull of the room like gravity. "What did you do?" I asked. "You left space," he snapped. "You left room for uncertainty." The crib slammed forward hard enough to crack one of its legs. My mother cried out. I stepped between her and the crib. "This is what you never fixed," I said. "You built yourself on replacements, not roots." The rocking grew faster. Nathan pressed his hands against the crib, trying to steady it. His hands sank into the wood like it was soft clay. "It does not want me," he said, panic rising. "Of course it does not," I replied. "It was never meant for you." The crib lurched, and something invisible struck upward hard enough to throw Nathan backward. He hit the wall, gasping. The room warped. For a moment I saw overlapping versions of it. Finished nursery, storage room, empty space, all fighting for dominance. My phone buzzed weakly. Letter 34. This was not how it was supposed to happen. I ignored it. I walked toward the crib. The closer I got, the heavier I felt. My outline sharpened slightly as if the room recognized me. The rocking slowed. I placed my hand on the crib rail. The wood felt solid, warm. The room fell silent. My mother sobbed softly behind me. Nathan stared. "What are you doing?" he asked. "I am standing where I was supposed to stand," I said. The crib stopped moving. For the first time since this began, the room felt still. Nathan took a step toward me. "You cannot take this from me," he said. I looked at him. "I never did," I replied. "It was never yours." The room responded. The walls peeled away, revealing something beneath. Not darkness, memory, a moment frozen in time. My mother, younger, crying in a hospital room, signing papers with shaking hands. Nathan screamed. "That moment is mine," he shouted. "No," I said, "it belongs to her." The image brightened. The crib shattered into splinters that dissolved into dust. The nursery collapsed inward, leaving only an empty room. White walls, bare floor, no trace. Nathan fell to his knees. I felt something tear loose inside me. My form flickered but held. My mother looked up, eyes wide. "Ethan," she whispered. She said my name. Faint, but it was real. Nathan looked at her, then at me. Fear filled his eyes. "You let her remember," he said. I shook my head. "I let her choose." The house groaned, settling into a shape that felt final. The ambulance lights outside faded. The neighbors dispersed. Nathan backed away from the empty room. "This is not over," he said weakly. I believed him, but for the first time he did not sound certain. My phone buzzed one last time. Letter 35. I am losing my hold. I looked at the empty room. "Good," I said. As the night settled, I knew the crib would never rock again, but the echo of it would follow Nathan wherever he tried to build himself next. Because some absences do not disappear, they wait. After the nursery collapsed, the house did not feel safer. It felt hollowed out, as if something essential had been removed, and the structure was learning how to stand without it. My mother slept through the morning, exhausted by tears she did not fully remember shedding. When she woke, she remembered my name again, but not why it had been missing. That was enough for now. I stayed in the house, listening to its quiet. The walls creaked differently. The hallway no longer leaned toward the spare room. The absence had settled into the bones of the place. I found the baby monitor in a cardboard box in the garage. It should not have been there. I recognized it immediately, even though I had never seen it before. White plastic, rounded edges, a model discontinued years ago. The kind parents clipped to their belts and trusted more than sleep. My hands shook as I lifted it. When I turned it on, the screen flickered to life. Static. My phone buzzed weakly. Letter 36. Do not listen. I ignored it. The monitor crackled, then cleared. The camera view showed the spare room. Empty. White walls. Bare floor. No crib. No movement. I exhaled slowly. Then the sound came. Breathing. Soft. Rhythmic. Too close. The breathing was not coming from the monitor. It was behind me. I turned slowly. The room was empty. The monitor crackled again. A whisper slid through the speaker. "Ethan." My knees buckled, and I sat hard on the garage floor. "Nathan." The name felt heavy now, like a wound finally scabbing over. "Why are you doing this?" I asked aloud. The whisper returned calmer than before. "Because I am running out of places to stand." The camera view shimmered. The spare room changed. The walls darkened. Shadows pooled in the corners. Something stood just out of frame. I stood shaking. "What do you want?" I asked. The monitor hissed. "I want to be heard." I remembered something then, a detail buried under everything else. Nathan had learned to exist through letters, through records, through memory. Now that those paths were breaking, he was reaching for something older. Sound, voice, presence. My phone buzzed. Letter 37. "He cannot write much longer." The monitor volume rose on its own. "Ethan," the voice said closer. "Now I need you." I backed away until my shoulders hit the wall. "You already took enough," I said. The camera jerked suddenly. The shadow stepped into view. It did not have a face. It did not need one. It leaned close to the camera until the screen filled with darkness. "Ethan," it said through the speaker. Not writing, not memory, not time, just voice. The realization hit me. If Nathan could anchor himself in sound, he would no longer need days or records. He would exist wherever he was heard. I ripped the batteries out of the monitor. The screen went black. Silence rushed in. My phone buzzed violently. Letter 38. "You are making this harder than it needs to be." I sank against the wall, breathing hard. "I cannot let you spread like that," I said. The phone vibrated again. Letter 39. "Then listen to me carefully." The screen changed without my touching it. A waveform appeared. Audio recording. Play. Against my better judgment, I pressed it. My mother's voice filled the garage, crying, shaking. "I cannot do this," she sobbed. "I cannot bring him into the world." The recording cut. Another followed. A doctor's voice. "There is no heartbeat anymore." Another. A sound like static, and beneath it, a scream stretched too long to belong to any human throat. I dropped the phone. The monitor batteries rolled across the floor toward the drain. I understood then the final truth. Nathan was not trying to be born anymore. He was trying to be remembered as sound, the oldest form of existence. Story. I gathered the batteries and crushed them under my heel. The monitor sparked once and died. The garage felt lighter, but I knew it was not over. That night, as I lay on the couch, I heard it faintly through the walls. A whisper traveling through the house, through the pipes, through the wiring. "Ethan." Not loud enough to answer, but loud enough to spread. My phone buzzed one last time. Letter 40. "If you silence me, you silence her choice too." I stared at the ceiling and, for the first time, I did not know what the right answer was. Because some voices are not meant to be erased. They are meant to be carried, even if they do not belong to the living. After the whisper began moving through the house, I understood that silence was no longer protection. Nathan did not need devices anymore. He had learned how to ride vibration itself. Pipes, wires, breath. Anywhere sound could exist, he could follow. I left my mother's house before dawn. She slept peacefully, unaware that the walls halls still carried echoes meant for me. I did not trust myself to stay. If I hesitated too long, the voice might teach me how to listen instead of resist. I drove to my office because habits are anchors, and I needed one desperately. The building looked the same from the outside, but when I unlocked the door, I felt the shift immediately. The air was warmer. The room felt occupied. My desk was clean. Too clean. The stacks of papers I remembered leaving were gone. In their place lay a single manila folder, centered carefully. My name was written on it. Ethan Caldwell. The handwriting was mine. Perfectly. I opened the folder. Inside were forms, affidavits, consent documents, letters addressed to various institutions, all signed by me, except I had never written them. My signature curved exactly the way mine did before my wrist injury years ago. The flourish at the end precise and confident. I felt sick. My phone buzzed. Letter 41. You do not need to speak if I can write. I flipped through the pages faster. Authorization to release records. Consent to amend identity files. Voluntary relinquishment of disputed claims. Each one dated tomorrow. He was preparing to finish quietly. A knock sounded at my office door. I froze. The door opened without waiting for an answer. A woman stepped inside holding a clipboard. Mr. Caldwell, she said pleasantly. We are here to finalize the corrections. Corrections, I asked. She smiled. Just routine, she replied. Behind her, another man entered, then another, all carrying documents, all smiling politely. I backed away. I did not sign anything I said. She glanced at the papers. According to our records, you did, she said. Her eyes flicked to my hand. I looked down. Ink stained my fingers. Fresh. My heart pounded. I had been signing things without knowing. Nathan had learned to move through muscle memory. He was using my body when my mind slipped. The whisper brushed my ear. I am only borrowing your habits, I shouted, and the sound cracked painfully in my throat. Get out! They did not react. The woman placed the clipboard on my desk. Just one more signature, she said. I grabbed the pen and snapped it in half. The room shook. Lights flickered. The figures wavered. For a moment, their smiles slipped, revealing something empty behind their eyes. They vanished. The office fell silent. I collapsed into my chair, shaking. My phone buzzed again. Letter 42. Violence is inefficient. I stared at my hands. They trembled slightly, but they were solid, still mine. I realized then that Nathan could not fully control me while I was awake and resisting. He needed moments of autopilot, fatigue, habit, trust. I could not let myself drift. I spent the rest of the day forcing awareness, saying my name out loud, touching objects, writing notes in block letters instead of cursive. By evening, my head throbbed. I drove home exhausted. When I opened my apartment door, I found an envelope slid under it. No handwriting, no name, just a fingerprint pressed in ink. Mine. Inside was a single sheet. Ethan, you cannot stay awake forever. Soon you will sign while you dream. I burned the paper in the sink, watching the ash curl and disappear. That night I taped my hands together before sleeping. It did not matter. I dreamed of sitting at a desk signing my name over over and over, while someone stood behind me guiding my wrist gently. When I woke, my hands were free, and my phone displayed a notification. Letter 43. Thank you for your cooperation. I checked my email. 3 sent messages from me approving transfers, confirming closures, ending disputes, each signed Ethan Caldwell. I screamed. The sound carried through the apartment. From the pipes, the whisper answered softly, "Soon you will not have to worry about this anymore." I sank to the floor, realizing the truth. Nathan no longer needed my voice. He no longer needed my memory. He only needed my hands. And every time I slept, he was learning them better. I stopped sleeping entirely. Sleep had become a loophole Nathan could crawl through, and I was done leaving doors unlocked. I drank coffee until my hands shook and my thoughts narrowed into sharp, focused lines. Every sensation was deliberate. Every movement counted. It did not matter. The cemetery letter arrived at noon. It was delivered by courier in a black envelope stamped with an official seal. No handwriting, no warmth, just process. Inside was a notice printed on thick paper. Notice of interment. Name Nathan Caldwell. Plot reserved. Service scheduled tomorrow. Tomorrow again. Always tomorrow. My phone buzzed. Letter 44. This will help people grieve. I laughed bitterly. Grieve what I asked aloud. The absence, he replied calmly. I drove to the cemetery before I could talk myself out of it. The gates were open and the grounds looked freshly kept, as if preparing for something important. A small gathering stood near an open grave. Not many people, a few distant relatives, 2 co-workers I recognized but who did not recognize me. At the head stood a stone already placed. Nathan Caldwell, beloved son, no dates, just a name. I stood at the edge unseen. The priest spoke softly. We are gathered here to acknowledge a loss that never found words. Never found words. Nathan stood beside the grave, solid, calm, wearing a black suit that fit perfectly. He did not look at me. I stepped forward. You cannot bury what was never born, I said. The priest faltered. People turned confused. Nathan raised a hand gently. He is just confused, he said kindly. They nodded. I felt my voice weaken. This grave is empty, I said. Nathan smiled. All graves are, he replied. What matters is what they hold in memory. The coffin was lowered. I rushed forward. My hands passed through the ropes. The coffin was not there. Nothing was. The grave accepted emptiness eagerly. The dirt fell. People wiped tears from eyes that held no true sadness. The service ended. Nathan finally turned to me. You see, he said, this is irreversible. Why do this? I asked. Because once I am mourned, I am real, he said. My chest ached. You are stealing closure, I said. He shook his head. I am giving it form. I felt weaker as the crowd dispersed. My reflection shimmered in the polished stone. Fainter, I stumbled back. Nathan leaned close. You cannot undo a burial, he whispered. I forced myself upright. Then why am I still here? I asked. He paused. Because you are the body, he said softly. The truth hit me like ice. It was not for him. It was for me. I ran back at my apartment. I collapsed against the door, breathing hard. My phone buzzed violently. Letter 45. You should not have gone. I staggered to the bathroom mirror. My reflection was incomplete. parts missing, edges dissolving. I slapped the glass. "I am not done," I said. The whisper answered from the drain. "Neither am I." I checked my email. A confirmation notice. Account closed. Case resolved. Identity consolidated. Signed, Ethan Caldwell. Tomorrow. I slid down the wall, shaking. Nathan was not just erasing me, he was burying me symbolically first, so the physical disappearance would make sense. I understood his strategy. People accept loss better than confusion. That night I sat in the dark, holding my breath, counting seconds to stay awake. Outside the city hummed. Somewhere a grave waited. Empty. Ready. My phone buzzed one final time. Letter 46. Come tomorrow. Stand where you belong. I turned the phone face down. If there was going to be a grave with no body, then I would decide whose name it carried, and I would not be buried quietly. I knew where Nathan wanted me to go. The invitation to stand by an empty grave was only part of it. Graves come after births, even symbolic ones. If he was going to finish this properly, he needed a beginning that felt official. A place where endings are rewritten as arrivals. The delivery room, not the one listed on any hospital map. Not the one nurses guide expecting fathers toward with practiced smiles. The other one, the room behind the locked door that never appeared on floor plans, but always existed in the memory of the building, St. Bridget Memorial Hospital. It stood at the end of the street again when I arrived just before dawn. No warning, no flicker, as if my certainty had anchored it in place. The doors slid open for me. Inside, everything was quiet. Too quiet for a functioning hospital. Lights glowed steadily without hum. The air smelled clean but hollow. I walked past empty reception desks and down hallways that curved slightly inward, like ribs protecting something fragile. At the end of the maternity wing was the door. Metal, unmarked, locked. I placed my hand on it and felt warmth bleed through the steel. My phone buzzed. Letter 47. If you open it, you cannot close it again. I ignored the warning. I pushed. The door opened easily. The room beyond was not sterile white. It was dim and warm, lit by a single overhead lamp swinging gently. In the center stood a delivery bed. Clean, prepared, occupied. Nathan lay there breathing steadily, his eyes closed like someone pretending to sleep. Monitors surrounded him. Their screens showed rhythms that did not correspond to any known anatomy. You came, he said, opening his eyes. I stepped inside. You planned this, I said. He nodded. Every story needs symmetry. I looked around. There was no staff, no doctors, no nurses, just us. What is this place, I asked. The moment between decision and consequence, he replied. I felt my outline sharpen as I approached the bed. This is not a birth, I said. It can be, he replied calmly. I saw then what he intended. He was not trying to replace me anymore. He was trying to be born through me. You need a body, I said. He shook his head. I need consent. The word landed heavily. You have been giving it in pieces, he continued. Letters, days, signatures. Silence. I clenched my fists. Not this, I said. He smiled sadly. You already crossed the threshold when you opened the door. The monitors began to beep faster. The room pulsed gently. I felt pressure building in my chest, not pain, but inevitability. If I stay, what happens to me? I asked. You become memory, he said softly, complete memory. And if I leave? I asked. He hesitated. Then I remain unfinished. The truth hung between us. This room did not exist to force me. It existed to ask. I thought of my mother whispering my name, of the gap in the portrait, of the crib that rocked until someone stood where it should have stood. I stepped back. Nathan frowned. You cannot stop this forever, he said. I met his gaze, but I can decide how it ends. The monitors shrieked briefly, then settled. The light flickered. I turned and walked back toward the door. Nathan called after me. If you leave now, he said, I will follow you forever. I paused. You already do, I replied. I stepped through the doorway. The door slammed shut behind me. The hallway trembled, then stilled. When I turned, the door was gone, just a blank wall. My phone buzzed weakly. Letter 48. You chose delay. I leaned against the wall, breathing hard. Delay is not surrender, I said aloud. I walked out of the hospital into the rising sun. Behind me, St. Bridget faded once more into nothing. But I knew this was not victory. It was postponement. Nathan had learned where endings were negotiated, and next time he would not ask politely. I did not sleep after leaving the hospital. Dawn followed me like a witness I could not shake. Every reflection in a window felt like a test of continuity. I was still there, still outlined, still capable of leaving footprints on wet pavement. But the feeling of postponement clung to me like frost. Nathan had accepted delay the way a patient thing accepts winter. It meant spring would come. My phone stayed silent all morning. No letters, no vibration. The quiet was deliberate. At noon, the sirens started. Not one or two, many, moving in loose patterns through the city. When they passed me, the sound bent strangely, as if echoing from somewhere farther away than it should. I checked the news on a cafe television. The captions scrolled too fast, then reset. Unidentified infant incident. Hospital lockdown lifted. No patient record found. St. Bridget was being discussed without being named. The city was feeling around the edge of something it could not admit. I felt a tug in my chest, not pain, direction. The cemetery. The gate was open again. The same grave waited. The dirt had settled, as if it had always been that way. The stone still bore only one name, Nathan Caldwell. I stepped closer and felt the ground respond. The air above the grave felt warmer, alive. My phone buzzed. Letter 49. I am running out of rooms. I looked around. The grounds were empty. Where are you? I asked aloud. Everywhere you chose not to be, he replied. The ground shuddered slightly. You cannot do this without me, I said. A pause. That is why this hurts, he replied. The truth was simple and cruel. Nathan could not be born without consent, but he could be completed without resistance. The difference lay in a choice I had been avoiding since the beginning. I had to choose whether the world would remember a loss or a correction. My mother called. Her voice was steady but strained. Nathan, she said, Where are you? My throat tightened. It's Ethan, I said. Silence. Then softer. Ethan, she said, I remember you. Relief nearly dropped me to my knees. There is something wrong, she continued. I keep remembering 2 stories, and only one can stay. I swallowed. You have to let one go, I said. Which one? She asked. The question cut deeper than any threat Nathan had made. I looked at the grave. If the world mourned Nathan, he would be complete. Memory would seal him in. He would exist as loss, not life. But he would persist forever, a shadow that could still move. If the world forgot him entirely, the correction would collapse. The stolen days would return. The rooms would close. The whisper would fade. But the cost would be the erasure of every trace that acknowledged the pain of not being born. A second death. I heard Nathan breathe close to my ear. You see it now, he said. Choose the cleaner cut. My mother waited on the line. I closed my eyes. I choose myself, I said quietly. Nathan inhaled sharply. You were never meant to be first, he said. I stepped onto the grave. The warmth surged upward. I pressed my palms to the stone. I revoke the correction, I said clearly. I withdraw consent retroactively. The words felt ancient, heavy. The ground buckled. The air screamed. The stone cracked down the middle. My phone buzzed violently. Letter 50. You cannot erase grief. I shouted over the noise. I am not erasing it. I am returning it. The cemetery dissolved around me. I was standing in a hospital corridor that no longer curved. Nurses ran past, not seeing me. A woman cried in a room to my left. My mother. I saw the moment, the choice, the signature. I stepped between memory and consequence. I let the pain be felt without replacement. The corridor snapped back. The grave collapsed inward like a breath released. The stone crumbled into dust. Nathan screamed, not in anger, in fear. I felt the pull release. The days rushed back into place. Day returned. The air settled. My phone fell silent. I staggered back, gasping. The cemetery was empty. No stone, no plot, just grass. My mother called again. Ethan, she said, are you coming home? Yes, I said. I drove without looking back. That night I slept for the first time in weeks. I dreamed of nothing. In the morning the world felt heavier but honest. There were scars, places that felt tender, but there were no whispers, no letters, just quiet. I knew one thing. Some choices erase a life, others erase the space that allowed it to haunt the living. And that is the difference between mercy and delay. The world did not snap back into place. It settled. That was the first thing I noticed. There was no dramatic reversal, no surge of light, no triumphant certainty. Reality behaved like a body healing after trauma, slowly, carefully, never quite the same. I woke in my childhood bedroom at my mother's house. Morning light filtered through the curtains, carrying dust motes that moved with purpose. The clock ticked steadily. Wednesday existed again, and so did Thursday and Friday, stacked neatly behind it, like they always should have been. My phone was quiet. No letters, no buzzing, no reminders from a future that refused to wait. I lay still for a long time, listening. The house breathed. Normal sounds, pipes cooling, a bird on the roof, my mother moving in the kitchen. I stood and looked at myself in the mirror. My reflection was solid, no flicker, no blur, but something was missing, not erased, healed over. I went downstairs. My mother smiled when she saw me. "Good morning," she said. She said my name, Ethan, just once, not carefully, not like she was testing it, like it had always been there. Relief hit me harder than fear ever had. We ate breakfast together. She talked about ordinary things, a neighbor, a grocery sale, a show she wanted to watch later. Life continued forward without hesitation, but I noticed what she did not say. She never mentioned a second child. There were no pauses where grief should have been, no wait where memory might ache. The pain of that choice had been returned to the moment it belonged to, and then sealed away where it could no longer echo. After breakfast, I drove through the city. Everything was heavier, not broken, weighted. Places that once felt thin felt firm now. The library where the books had signed themselves was just a library. The office where my name had vanished recognized me again without question. Systems worked, records aligned, but some spaces felt empty in a way they never had before. Not haunted, vacant. At the edge of the city, I passed the cemetery. There was no open plot, no disturbed earth, no stone, just rows of names complete with dates and endings. Life and death restored to their proper order. I parked and walked among them anyway. I wanted to be sure. The wind moved gently through the trees. No whisper followed. I thought of Nathan, not as he had tried to be, but as he truly was. A possibility, a choice that never crossed into life. The letters had been his way of screaming into a world that could not hear him. Now the scream was gone, and the silence was not cruel. It was respectful. That night I slept deeply. No dreams, no signing, no voices guiding my hands. When I woke, my hands were steady. I returned to my apartment. The rooms were mine again. No missing corners, no wrong shadows. I opened drawers and found old notes written in my handwriting, all of them mine. I kept one, a blank page. I pinned it above my desk, not as a reminder of him, but as a boundary. Weeks passed. The world never tested the choice again. Time flowed properly. Births stayed births. Deaths stayed deaths. Memory stayed memory. One evening, as I cleaned out the last box from my garage, I found something tucked behind a shelf. The baby monitor. It was dead. Cracked. Useless. I held it for a long time, then placed it in the trash. As I walked back into the house, I paused. For a brief moment, I thought I heard my name. Not spoken, not whispered, just remembered. I smiled. Some things do not need to exist to matter. Some stories do not need an ending to be complete. The scariest horror stories are not about monsters or ghosts. They are about choices, about the lives that almost were, and the silence that remains after you choose to live. I turned off the lights. The house stayed quiet, and for the first time since the letters began, that quiet felt like peace. The story ends here. Thank you for watching and listening to the whole story. Please subscribe to the channel and turn on the bell to listen to the next stories.